important. So I'm going to take you on a session today that talks about the evidence that speaks, how to present your work with impact in advancement in tech. So just a bit of background for myself. I am actually a medical doctor by training that fell in love with tech. And since then, it has just been an upward trajectory. I have a master's degree in business and data analytics with a distinction from Robert Gordon University. And I have worked across several institutions. And I'm currently working in the NHS as one of the seniors. I just moved from one trust where I was leading the cancer reporting. And I'm currently going to start another trust within the week. And also as then deputizing as one of the senior service managers there. So the truth is, I have worked across and contributed to explainable AI projects and NLPs, and I've also recently judged a tech hackathon that was done. I have presented at papers, I speak at conferences. So basically, anything health tech, you will find my name around, or somebody will know somebody that knows me. So the thing is, I didn't just start off like, oh, I have done this is what I have done. The truth is that these things take a lot of guts. You need to sound, you need to convince yourself that you can actually be in that room. So I'll give you an example. So most recently, I was in a conference in London, and I was the only black person in the room. So it just dawned on me that these are spaces that a lot of us, of people of my color, people of African descent, will have loved to be in. But how did they get into their rooms? And that made me become more curious. And in that same time, Chidozie messaged me that we should do something like this. I was like, okay, is this guy really reading my mind? Because I was thinking about trying to see maybe I'll make a LinkedIn post about it and see what ticks from there. But the truth is that a lot of us are not privileged enough to be in such positions. It's not that we do not have the skills, it's just that we do not know how to sell ourselves. And in the UK that we are in, you must be able to be marketable at any point in time. And that is what they look after. How is your experience? How marketable are you? And how does your evidence speak? So we'll be looking at it under some core pillars. The first one will be turning projects into clear and credible evidence. I don't know if anybody is familiar with the hub and spoke principle. So I use it a lot. The hub and spoke principle is you can apply it to any area of your life. So you have a hub, which is a central point. So let's use our fingers. This is our hand. So here is the hub, and at this digits they are the spoke. So everything you must do must connect back to this. For example, if I was to present um, a topic now on AI, let's say health tech, health AI in healthcare. I will not just go and say, oh, there is a recent research on AI in healthcare that shows that we can actually make substantial change. You see the way I'm sounding? It sounds very simple, but it's not visually compelling enough for somebody to want to be interested in. But if I put it into the spoke system, which is this 5 tips, I can be able to say healthcare, AI in diagnostics, AI in radiology, AI in triaging, AI in treatment, and AI in laboratory. So I'll say it again. So AI in diagnosing. I would say in the last 5 years, we've seen a significant increase in about 30% of people who come to the NHS waiting for their results. In a recent study done by so and so, we can see that AI has improved about 30% to 35% of patients that have come in. And an AI system has shown to be able to give results faster, whereby reducing waiting times for 15 days to 3 days. The way I've said it, it makes a lot of sense for somebody that was listening to it. So now all of a sudden you're more interested because I've quoted figures. That's one of the things you need to do. You must quote figures, show percentage, you must benchmark, and you must show the impact. So what I did there was I quoted figures, the percentage that are waiting, the effect of that waiting time, and how it's causing significant delays. I benchmark it against other hospitals or other areas that are using it. And sorry, I'm going to stick to health tech because I just something that everybody will be able to understand. Let's not go all technical because I'm not sure everybody's on the same technical level. So I'm going to be very granular in my explanation. But if you ask me questions, we can go technical.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair way to
Yeah.
approach it.
Yeah.
Then you're showing benchmarking, you're quoting credible sources, and you're speaking with a lot of credibility. So that gives you clarity, it gives you some structure, it gives you credibility, and you gain the audience focus. So you need to simplify complexity without losing substance. Then you can create visually telling techniques and you can focus on the outcomes over technical details because the truth is, by the time you get to the top of all these places, the technical guys are not there. That's just the truth. By the time you start climbing up to the top of the food chain, the technical guys are not there. So all these technical things is for the lower and the middle because they will do the work. Then we are looking those upwards. We're looking at the figures, the impacts. What can we do? So for structure, your whatever you're doing must solve a problem.
Yeah.
So there must be a problem solving of that particular thing. So your hub must connect with your spoke. So the hub must solve the spoke problem. And that spoke problem must be visually telling. There must be it must be credible, it must be structured, there must be evidence to back it. The impact must be there. That is the only way you can capture your audience.
Yeah.
If not, it is just a hearsay. And we're in an environment now that resources are no longer very readily available. So before something must be done, you must have done your ground-based analysis on what you want to do. There's been, I believe any idea is a good idea. Like I've been in places where people have shared some very brilliant ideas, and the people there were like, "Oh, I don't like it," and they don't like it not because the person said it was not because it was a bad idea, but because the person couldn't sell the idea.
And yeah.
And that is not a person problem. That's just an audience problem. Because sometimes you'll be in a place and you want to pitch your evidence. The people that are receiving it do not have the understanding of it because you've not presented it in a way that is on their level. So they might see it as a technical jargon or not well informed, or you are not well informed on the subject matter. So you always have to keep it in a way that it is there. That's why I say throw your metrics, throw your percent, benchmark it against someone else that is already doing it. Show the problem at the moment. Show what the problem when it's solved will look like. Show what the impact will be in 2 to 3 years. Forecast what we will see. Another thing we need to do is we are by doing that, we'll be able to address the pain points of our stakeholders. The evidence will be tailored to specific stakeholder. For example, who is going to handle that, and how does that improve their particular department or area. Then connect your work. This is one that is the most important thing. Connect your work to the wider organizational goals. So if this problem I've solved in a small pilot can solve a particular problem, how then can I transform this little idea that we have just talked about and solved into another problem that the organization is facing? So because you have done it and it was successful, there is always someone in that room that will say, let us give him another chance to do it. I'll give you an example. I recently developed the strategy for the next 5 years for one of the trust that I just left. When I joined them, they were just about rounding up and they were looking for there was an advert out for people to come and to try and develop the strategy and stuff. So everybody had to. It was like a ballot system. You apply, fill a form, and they will select the best people. So I was happened to be selected. And in the selection process, we had a meeting with the CEO, and he said, "Oh, well, you see, we're going to do it like this." I told him, with all due respect, sir, we're not going to do it like that. Initially, the man was shocked, like, "Ah, who is this guy that is telling me we will not let? I'm telling you this." I said, "Sir, we won't do it like that." This is the approach I want us to look at. I want us to break it into three parts. I want us to look at the people and the patients. I want us to look at the staff, and I want us to look at it in the public eye. So we're going to divide us into three teams of 4 people each: staff, public, patient. And we're going to take separate data and we'll put it together. If we find common themes within those three, we'll develop the strategy from there. And he was like, okay, that makes sense. So the first iterative meeting we had, we showed him what the evidence we were gathering. So you were not, with this system, we're now able to get more people to buy in, because now it was no longer a oh, you have come again, because that's what the knowledge and the perception people had. We're now able to get more people to buy in. We spoke at various meetings, both on board levels and senior exec levels. We had an atrium stall where we put up a stand and say, come and tell us what you want the next 5 years to look like for you. This is going to involve your personal development, your conference, your research. What are the things your patients are telling you in the clinic that you want to hear? Where is the problem in your department? So a lot of people came forward. We had over 1,000 to 2,000 responses. Then we now took the data from the public, which is they've gone outside to seek external consultation from what are other trusts doing, what are other hospitals doing. How can we benchmark that against what we have at the moment? And what are the patients saying? What do they want to be improved? Because at the end of the day, everything is to improve the healthcare system, or it's to improve patient experience. So with this way, the way my team and I approached this project was different from how they've been doing it, and the impact was incredible, because I think we received an award for it. I think it's somewhere on my LinkedIn. I don't know if I've posted it, but it was different, and everybody could testify that this was a more welcome approach, because it was clear, it was credible, there was a structure to it, and we kept the audience focused, because we gave weekly to 2 weekly updates in of what we were doing, and there were a lot of charts and visuals, so everybody was seeing everything in real time, and that was keeping people on their toes. So that's just an example. Another thing again is when you're trying to um, present your work with impact, you need to avoid too much jargons.
Yeah.
So for someone that for me, I do a lot of recruitment, or I sit in panels for interviews. And the truth is, majority of us, or a lot of us, sometimes it happens to me too, so I'm going to say I'm in your boat. We have so much knowledge. I'm going to put Chidozie on the spot here. So the first time I heard him pitch his idea in a demo prep for when he won his hackathon, he was so focused on saying a lot of things that the other most of us did not really understand what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
But I always remember that I have been in this position before. So I'll just pinch myself and say, listen to the things he is not saying that he thinks he's saying. So a lot of us speak with too much jargon, because he has come into that room and expecting, if I just bombard them with AI, NLP, all these many things, they will think I'm this. Is a lie. It's a lie. And because we have so much technical knowledge, we're unable to break that information into granular information. I have a friend who knows a lot of data stuff, but he can't explain it. So I used to think he was faking it, but I realized over time, spending time with him, that if you give him the data and say, do something with it. He does something nice, but tell him to explain what he has done. He can't. He will tell you, go look up. Just understand it. But he can't explain it. Not because he does not know what it is. It's just that he doesn't know how to break it down into the level that a junior person will understand, or the average eye will understand. He rather speaks in big English and stuff. But the truth is, too much jargon does not give you career advancement. Your audience, your work must be suited for your audience. If you can't explain it, that's what we used to say. If you can't
Yeah.
explain it, that means you don't know
I
it.
don't know. Yeah.
And if you cannot explain it, if you cannot teach the next person, you will not climb that ladder because you have not been able to create an impact. And that's the truth. So, overloading with technical terms, assuming the audience expertise, using acronyms and abbreviations without explanations does not work. It does not work for it. Try and simplify the language, explain using simple analogies, and define the unnecessary terms upfront so that people understand what you are saying. Also, not doing a lot of research. Too very little proof of evidence will not get you across the line. Then the thing I want you to avoid doing is making false claims. Avoid that thing like
Yeah.
a plague. Just do not do not say that. And if you want to speak more boldly, avoid the word I think. It's something we usually say a lot where from. I'm from Nigeria. And I think avoid it so much. So once you immediately you begin to say I think, you have lost credibility in the room. So, and another thing you should not say is I'm sorry, we should. So do not apologize. It's a very slippery slope, when you're apologizing in the workplace before you speak. It downplays everything you will say afterwards. I think, sorry, we should. So you want to use more authoritative terms. I'm not saying you can fight your manager or a disclaimer. What I'm saying is you need to speak with I will like us. We should consider. So you need to use strong adverbs and adjectives, more action words like it will be beneficial for us. Looking at this is the, or I might be wrong, or so I might be wrong, but I think we should. So you are saying it in a very authoritative manner, or you can say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we should actually do like this. So that comes from correct me if I'm wrong. So already the person that is listening to you is thinking, "Ah, he must have thought about three things. So okay, correct me if I'm wrong." So me in that meeting now, if you say, Williams, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we should like this. So me, I'm not like, he has thought about everything. Okay, well, you are not wrong. That be my next answer. We are not wrong, but this is how I. So you that did not even know anything about it, automatically you've gotten more information without even doing too much. But if you say, I think, they'll tell you no, because we actually, so you will now feel like, oh, maybe I should have just not asked them the question. Another thing again you should not do is when you are in corporate meetings, do not keep quiet. So the way the system is anywhere, the people that talk the most get the most promotion.
Yeah. But that's true.
It's not rocket science. So let's assume you have a business that you were running, and you have a staff that comes to say, sir, we have so and so thing we need to do. Sir, we have this. There's a subjective bias that you will always favor that staff. It's a subjective bias. The person might not be the best at their job, but for the fact that
Yeah.
they come to
Proactive.
you, give you update, they're always speaking to you, there's a certain level of confidence you have that I can leave this business for this person to do without so much supervision. And that's where that comes into play. But the most important thing after that is you need to document everything you are doing. By documenting, I'm not saying, oh, today I did one spreadsheet. No, I did a tax. This was the problem. You will now go back to the first thing I said. This was the problem we're facing. This is the step we used. This was the outcome, and this has been the monitoring impact since then. So that when it's that time that you're promoting anybody, you and your manager will have one-to-one. Please only schedule your one-to-one with your managers. It is as important as gold. The one-to-one is not to go there and be reporting your colleagues. So please, they will go and discuss it with the colleague. Oh, and it's the truth. They will go and say a certain member has said so and so about you, and they might call your name, and that will create unnecessary rift at work. Your one-to-one is for you to show where your challenges are and where your weak and that's where your weak challenges are and where you can be helped. When you are in your one-to-one, ask for trainings, ask for conferences, ask for opportunities to take on more workload. That is what one-to-one is for, and that's the way you climb up. The truth is, the work you do sometimes does not really matter in an organization. It's actually the people that like you that actually matters. So you have to be likable, for you to climb up. I've been in this business for too long for me to not know this information. So that's why I say when I go into an organization, the first thing I want to do is I want to find out the 7 people that matter the most in that place. At least I will make friends with 5. I know that within before the end of that time, I will increase that number to 6. 6 is fine out of 7. There's no way you will get 7/7. But if I'm going there and I'm struggling with only 1 out of 7, the likelihood of me advancing in that place is almost not possible. I'll give you an example. So in the UK here, they take very small things personal. For example, drinking tea. You see how little that thing is. That's not something we do back home in Nigeria or where I was working. But when I came here, I found it that it was a very big deal in the office. So what I went to do is since I don't like drinking coffee, I went and bought hot chocolates and I put my mug there so that when one person is going to make tea, the person makes for everybody. At a point, I started doing it. I was saying, who wants to a cooper make tea for everybody? Not because I can't say I don't want to drink tea, but it's just because you are in an environment now that you need to be adaptable. In that same environment that you are being adaptable, there's always going to be small talk. While you are working, there will be small, yeah, 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 yeah. What's your plan for holiday? All those many things. How's your dog? All those small chats. Engage in it. It feels irrelevant, but engage in it. You don't need to say too much. Just laugh here and here, say your thing, engage in it. Because the truth is that when opportunities come, it's those people that will tell you to go for it, and they will still speak for you forward. And be kind. It doesn't take you anything to go to your workplace with box of a box of biscuits or sweets. It is very simple, but it's a gesture that speaks when you are not in the room. Then birthdays, sign people's birthday cards and just wish them happy birthday or something. I know we don't like to talk so that we do not get into trouble. You see, those things, they are people may forget what you've said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. If you think about this quote anytime you're in your office, people may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. That feeling will always sit with them that, when Williams was here, he was nice. So on my birthday, he got me breakfast, as small as that. when an opportunity comes, for example, I was nominated to go for a position that will have taken me 3 years ahead to get. I went to the interview and I was the only candidate, the only internal candidate they selected because I put myself for it, and the people above me were like, "Ah, yeah, you should go for it. You'll be nice. After all, you've shown that you can do it on that level." I went for that interview, and I spoke so well that they offered me the job, but I turned it down because on paper, I didn't realize that on paper the pay was a certain level, but in actual terms, it was not full time. So it was almost like 27, 30 hours. And I didn't want to reduce my hours. But it showed me how much those small talks and conversations can actually propel me in that right direction. So that's one thing I want to do. Try and be connected at work. Don't go sit down, put your headphones in, and just be on your computer Monday to Friday. My brother, there's no vision doing that. The likelihood of you trying to grow in that position is very low. Like I said, the people that like you matter more than the work you are doing. And you have to create a very good rapport with your managers or the people above you. Sometimes some managers might not be good, but there's always a way around them. You should not be found wanting in your work. If they say you want to show hang out, you don't hang out, that's fine. But try and create like a working rapport that is good enough for someone to recommend you. Another thing I will encourage you to everybody to do today is from next week, post as many as at least 3 times a week on LinkedIn. Your posts should not just be, "I'm happy to announce." Please, let's shift from "I'm happy to announce." Tell us what you are doing today. So you can create a series. I'm not trying to guide you. Create a series of what you do. You see the way we talk about Arsenal and Liverpool winning the titles, we're analyzing Arteta every day and slot. You see that conversation, you can actually put your work into that kind of thing and say, on Monday, I'm going to open my spreadsheet. This spreadsheet is actually for so and so, where I'm going to create an impact in this. So you created the problem you are solving with that spreadsheet, the impact is making. Just talk about it in a very vague term. On Wednesday, do a review of that work or something else you are doing. Friday, do something else. Talk about a trending topic. There's AI that is trending now. There's health tech, various whichever field you are in. Cybersecurity is also very hot. I am systems are raised. Chidozie, sorry, go ahead.
No, no problem. Sorry, just no problem. I'm just checking the time because the meeting was you have about 40 minutes left. But I mean, this session is so amazing, and I'm sure everybody is really getting so much value. That's why everybody's keep quiet and sending emojis. But yeah,
Ah, okay. Sorry. So create a series, a posting series, and let your LinkedIn not be active. Let your LinkedIn not be dormant. Sorry. So because a lot of people are watching, like I was telling Chidozie earlier today, that a lot of people are watching your post. It's like it's like passing a road every day. I will see something on my road. I'll be like, okay, that's there. The second day I will pass, I'll be like, okay, that thing is still there. Oh. The third day I'll be like, wow, that thing is not there. Somebody has removed it. So it goes to show that I was actually looking at that thing, even though I was not paying attention to it. And the next time I come and see that they built a building, and you're like, how come this building has got here? How happened? You will not start asking about the whole thing. And that's how it is. I was sitting down on my phone last week, and somebody called me from Dubai that, hi, we are looking for so and so, and we think you'll be a great fit for it. I was like, Dubai, okay. How did we get to that point? She was like, oh, my manager is in love with your work you are doing. We're going to pay your flight for coming. We'll pay your rent for 3 months, and we'll pay you a certain wage, so and so. I was like, Omo. That was the first time I said, Omo. And I said, I'll get back to you. Then I went back to my room. I was like, this thing is actually working. Oh. this posting thing. And that's how opportunity comes, because the opportunity of a lifetime must be utilized within the lifetime of that opportunity. The opportunity of a lifetime must be utilized within the lifetime of that opportunity.
Mhm.
The more you are posting, the law of time and chance will meet you, because someone else, someone there will be like, yes, this is what I'm looking for, because you have been consistent. And another thing you should do is you need to understand the audience of where you're posting to. One size does not fit all approach. So address a specific need in your post. What is that your post solving? And people need to connect on that your post emotionally. So you can do a thought-provoking post to try and get people's reaction. You can comment on a trending topic. You can post about your day. There was a lady that was at a Portsmouth conference that myself and Chidozie were. She started posting on LinkedIn every day, and that's how her business started. And she became a consultant for various big firms, and
Mhm.
she's doing fantastically well. She just tells us, today is Monday, I'm going to be doing this. I'm sure people started liking her page, and they felt they were they became faithful followers of her page, because it reflected what they were doing on their own week. Oh, I wake up in the morning, I'll take coffee, I'm going to do this, I walk, blah, 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 blah. She just posts that every day. And before you know, she became a consultant, because people want to feel heard and listened to. And there's a room for that connection to be made. So please keep posting, and post purposeful post that we get good interactions. Let it solve a problem, create an impact, and create a solution. The next thing is highlighting your impact without exaggeration. Don't go and tell us that you solved a problem with 99.9% accuracy. That's not true. That's not true. For example, you cannot reduce a let's say waiting time. You cannot reduce waiting time from 13 days to 2 days. Come on, let's be practical. So that does not create a sense of sincerity. Or you're reducing automation time from 4.7 hours to 2 hours. It doesn't seem right. If you say you reduce it from 4.7 to 4, then you hope to improve that in the next 2 years to about 2. You have created a forecast and also a logical reason why people should believe that information. Also, your work that you do, connect it to the benefits of your users. If you are creating a system, if you are into IAM systems, as access identity access and management systems, build your system with the end users in mind. Let the end users be your partners in designing your system, because in that way you are able to create a system that they become involved in, and those people become your data champions. They become your forerunners, because they speak the system from how they receive and perceive your system, because they are the ones using it. If you are into that line of work, include testimonials. The truth is, a lot of things that work in this our system based works most on referrals. You hear people say, have you used it before? Is this person good? It works on a lot of testimonials. So if you do something and it has worked, get people to talk about it and quote you that they are a firm believer of what you have done. They've seen you work and they can do it. The word of mouth travels faster than any other thing.
Uh-huh.
Someone said, there's this Williams guy. When I first joined Royal Papal Hospital, they said, there's this economy, this guy that weaves his hair. That was my first week. After I showed them what I could do in 2 weeks, it was this new tech guy. We've moved from here. The next few months, we went to there is this brilliant chap that has come in and he wants to change our system. This guy is going to put all of us out of work. The conversation has changed because people were beginning to see the impact of what I was doing. It was now like they were meeting. I don't want to say Gen Z because I'm not Gen Z. They met like a Gen Z guy. You know, when you're used to doing something very vaguely, and now everything is now being semi-automated, and I'm telling you, it can work. You can create some other things, AI, we can put macros, we can create a dashboard and do some kind of things. Like, who's this guy and stuff like that. So those are the kind of things. Those people now go and tell people that there's this new guy in the department. He's really hot and he's able to do things. Those things will travel fast. It just your reputation will precede you. Because people will say, I know you now, you know the guy and stuff. I've met somebody and say, I've seen you on Facebook, like Facebook. Yeah, she was like, oh, I saw you were on the hospital page, you were saying something. It's like, really? So I had to go and check, and truly, I was on the Facebook. I didn't even know that I was there. But a lot of people have seen it because this country works a lot with Facebook, and it's not something that we usually look out for again. So include testimonials and feedback. Show how the problem was solved. But if you are showing how the problem was solved, do not use a lot of technical things because only the technical guys will react to your post. And the guys that make the decisions are not technical. So you need to balance that information. Also, another thing people like to see is acknowledging your limitation. I don't know how to overemphasize this point. People want to be able to relate to the point that they're able to tell that this guy is human too, and he has his own shortcomings. Should be able to say, you should be able to tell them that I had my own flaws in this project. I was very stressed. I ran out of time. It took a lot of energy and effort for me. Something like that. You need to do that. Also, connect it to the business objective, like I said, and the long-term benefits for the organization. For example, you can say I enabled a company enter a new market segment, contributing about 10% to their quarterly revenue growth. I reduced the cancer waiting time from 30%, from 13 days to 11 days. That has increased our cancer waiting submission times and our cancer compliance to about 90% from previously of 65 to 70% in the last 3 years. Stuff like that. So I'm going to keep quiet now and I'll let you ask me questions. Thank you.
Oh wow, that has been a very, 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 very interesting session. I mean, I said there's so many things, and to be honest, a lot of what you said is very true. You cannot show your impact if you do not have a good track of your impacts. So aside from just keeping track of all these impacts and everything, you want to make sure that the people that you're working with, are good times with them because they're also human beings, and no one can overemphasize the word of mouth. So ideally, it boils down to being intentional about wanting to progress towards a certain point. And yeah, I think we would, because of the time, now we'll have a couple of maybe one or two questions before we go, and then we'll now wrap up with just a summary of talent acts and call it a day. But yeah, I mean, it's such an insightful session, and I'm sure everybody feels the same way too. So, any questions, real quick, you can type in the chat. So we just ask if you don't want to speak anyway. Yeah, Savior, go ahead if you have a question. Yeah. Yeah, same thing. Say if you have a question, go ahead. Okay, Wuchi, can go ahead, please.
All right. Good evening. So my question is, how do you deal with rude managers?
So I'll let Williams answer that question here. He says, how do you group managers?
So the truth is, you have to contextualize a lot of things, and that keeps you in a certain thin line. Why I say contextualize is because that person you say might be rude to you might also be very nice to somebody. So, and it's very important in the workplace to choose your kind of language that you use. Calling somebody rude, silly, narcissistic, and all those things, they can put you in a very tight bracket.
Yeah,
And if you are in a workplace that there's a lot of competition, somebody will rat you out, and that will start affecting you.
That's true.
So the truth is, don't do band for band, don't go aura for aura. That your manager is rude, speak to them in a very calm manner and let your work precede you. So I've had a manager that was always insulting people, and one day he now insulted me. So he was expecting me to, everybody used to react. He was expecting me to answer, thank you, sir. No problem, I'll go back and fix it. When I went back to his desk, I told him, sir, here is the job done. But for the sake of clarity, the way you spoke to me that last time, I didn't feel very great. It sounded very condescending and it made me feel a certain type of way. I'm really sorry if you were having a bad day, but I think maybe you may have transferred aggression to me and that has affected my self-esteem. Please, moving forward, can we not speak to each other in that kind of tone? But here is the work done. So you've put him in a position whereby you've done the work and you've told him he has fucked up in a polite way,
Yeah,
and he's now opinion like, "Ah, okay, he'll be apologized,
yeah, very correct.
and that will start creating a good rapport from there.
Yeah, very correct. True. Yeah, I mean, it's everything all boils down to how you handle people. Yeah, how you handle people. Because again, like you said, you could just be anything. Maybe that money was having a bad money, and then you were the first person he saw, and maybe just the way you were working that money, and just set him off. But whatever the case is, it all boils down to how you handle people, how you relate to people. Yeah. So I think all of this still ties up to how presenting yourself specifically. Even if you're looking at something like the global talent visa, because these are the people that you work with every day, that you interact with every day, that are able to attest to the work you're doing. So you would obviously, aside from them, aside from you being in a good rapport with them and them helping you to maybe give you things like letters and whatnot, you also need to you on your own part keep accurate record of what you're doing, like Mr. Williams has already said, which is very correct. Numbers are very key. Keep accurate numbers of what you're doing. If you have an app, how many app downloads, visitors, stuff like that. Those are the kind of things that will help you to build your profile to world class level, to the level or at least seemingly level of people like Mr. Williams now, who is more or less, like I said, an expert in his own right. Okay, we have maybe a this thing for one more question because I think we only have about a few minutes here. But if there are no more questions, we can wrap it up and just. Oh yes, Christopher's asking says, "How do I communicate?" Said, "How do I communicate the value and impact of my work without sounding like I'm bragging?" Interesting, interesting.
Let me answer that question. So the truth is, the worst thing you can do for yourself is not be a team player. Do not ever brag at work. That will send you to your early grave at work because once they just mark you, they will say you're proud, you're pompous, you're not a team player, and you're not collaborative.
Yeah,
When you start hearing those steps, Baba, start looking for another job because
very
your
true.
days are numbered.
Very true.
You have to show that the work is more than you. You have to show that you are able to carry your team along. So there are sometimes I've done some jobs, yes, and I've given it to some of my team members to go and present it. Not because I couldn't go and do it, but sometimes those people also need a win. And by them doing that, they will go and say, I'm here to present a work that was done by myself and Williams. Williams has really helped us to do the job. So they have, you have used the concept of they have gone to speak ahead of you. So they are now your testimonials for your and your feedback.
Yeah.
They have gone to say, oh, if not for Williams, wouldn't have done this without you come to say. Then you now be like, oh, don't worry, it was all of us that did it. That kind of humility. That is how to show that kind of impact. You cannot go there and take credit 100% of everything you do. Sometimes it's good to take credit, but you need to show that you are a team player. Gather your teammates around and show them what you are doing. If someone is struggling to do a particular task and they've come to you, teach them, educate them. If you find an easier way to do something, show someone else how to do it and make sure that task is not repetitive for them. That's how to go about it. Don't go and brag,
Okay. I mean,
please.
yeah, amazing, amazing. This thing, yeah. I mean, obviously, always learn how to be a team player. Being trying to be like a one man show is no go area. I think it's something that everybody wants to wants to be the first position or something. In the real world, it doesn't work like that. You have to work with people. It's people that make things move, not you alone. So sadly, because of time, I mean, those are the only two questions we can take. But to be honest, this is a very very an amazing session, and I think everybody can agree. So before we wrap it up, I just want to quickly do a final introduction of again what talent act is for those of us that came late. Like I said, I'm the founder of talent acts, and Mr. Williams here is one of our experts. Ideally, what we do is we specialize in helping tech professionals, like everybody here, particularly those that are aiming for the global talent visa in the tech sector for now. So we help professionals in this area, in the tech area, to guide them through the from 0 to 100, and helping them get prepared for the visa. So this will help you to do things like converting your real world experiences, all those projects that you're building, all those apps you're building. We will be able to guide you, and so they can be able to package them in such a compelling manner that, just like was said now, it will be able to communicate your impact to, even if it's an assessor, a potential employer. We will help you to arrange your profile in such a way that to communicate that impact to whoever's looking at it. And our platform also provides certain AI features like statement builder and some other great reviewers. And like I said already, we have GTV alumni and experts, myself, Mr. Williams, and a few of us already even in this call. So you can find more details on the website, talenthacked.com. I'll put it in the chat after this. But aside from this, I'm really grateful for all of you to come today and joining on this session. Even though we had that small hitch, but we've been able to still pull this number. I think at some point we were picking at about 20 people, so that's it. So I hope everybody here at least got some value. I can see a lot of emojis. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. You're supportive, and to Mr. Williams, this has been an amazing session, and I hope we'll have more and more of this.
Definitely, definitely. Please reach out to me anytime. My LinkedIn is there. Just reach out to me. I'm very responsive with the phone.
Yeah,
Just reach out to me, please, if you have
yeah.
any issues. Anybody at all.
Please make sure you have active LinkedIn accounts. It's very important in this day and age. I would dare to say it's even more important than having an actual paper CV, because if you properly create a LinkedIn account, your profile very well, it can even replace your CV. So, not to say not important, but it's right now LinkedIn is very, very crucial in almost any professional aspect. So, like Mr. Williams already said, it is not something you should just overlook and just assume that it should just go away. But yeah, it's been an amazing session, and thank you guys for coming.